Now on Coast TV News.
Rehoboth Beach bike safety.
I think a lot of the current issues that we've here is speed.
How city leaders are looking into keeping pedestrians safe.
Big plans in Frankford.
We're having more homes built.
The opportunity businesses see and the worries from those living nearby.
Delaware home care.
We're competing with them because of the salary differential.
How home care agencies are struggling.
While we have an update on what's happening with our severe drought situation, unfortunately, it got worse.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
The power of pedaling. A new bike network could be on the way to Rehoboth Beach. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. Our top story tonight is an effort to improve safety in the nation's summer capital.
This is what a new bike trail network could someday look like in Rehoboth Beach. You're going to see this bike go around. Yep, today the city's Streets and Safety Committee working on that project with the goal of helping people avoid some of the most dangerous high traffic roads like the Avenue. Coast TV News' Emma Aiken is in our newsroom. Emma, Rehoboth says this would be different than the traditional bike path.
Maddie, unlike some bike paths, this suggested network would not create separate bike lanes. Instead, the idea is clearer signage and designated routes to help guide riders along calmer streets. The streets may look calm now, but as it gets warmer, they'll get busier in Rehoboth Beach.
I think a lot of the current issues that we've here is speed, often with the electric motors and things like that. Speed and pedestrian safety is a big concern.
Assistant City Manager Evan Miller says they want to make sure that people who prefer to walk and bike stay safe, which is why they're working on a new bike network. The suggested network does not call for a separate lane, rather clearer signs and more of them, especially on roads like Rehoboth Avenue and King Charles Avenue. Now it's about securing the money.
So the grant application's been submitted, so we just wait, I think, a couple months before we hear back in terms of whether or not we've been accepted for that grant program.
Ronald Bolden lives on King Charles Avenue and says he's looking forward to things getting safer.
As you can see, we really don't have a path for actually bicycles. And when we are looking at trying to bike up and down, we have that along with all the traffic that we're trying to maneuver around.
With summer traffic right around the corner, city leaders say the goal is simple: make sure everyone can enjoy Rehoboth Beach safely, whether they're on 2 wheels or 2 feet. The city's Streets and Safety Committee said today that pretty much all of their bicycle suggestions were approved by the Board of Commissioners, meaning now it's about figuring out implementation. Back to you.
Other suggestions the city discussed today, including adopting a motorized bicycle and scooter policy, adding signs to Rehoboth Avenue and the boardwalk, adding another crosswalk at Rehoboth Avenue and Canal Street. They say that's a DelDOT suggestion.
And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what is the biggest bike safety concern in Rehoboth Beach?
Let's take a look at the results so far. And remember, if you want to vote, scan that QR code. Fast e-bikes have a majority of the vote right now with 67%, though driver awareness getting 29%.
And we have a comment from Jackie in Frankford, and she agrees with this, voted fast e-bikes, saying the main reason they are a menace is that there is no stipulation who can ride a motorized bike. All ages, especially the young who have no license and no idea how to obey road traffic laws, a menace everywhere.
If you haven't voted yet or left us a comment, please do so. CoastTV.com or our mobile app. We've got a lot, but we always have room for more, and we'll show you them at 11. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Milford. Our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us with a look at our forecast. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Maddie. And we've had a very interesting morning. We actually recorded a bit of precipitation that finally came knocking on our door, but it still wasn't enough to really make a dent in our drought situation. Right now in Ocean City, we're at 62 degrees with the winds at about 19 miles per hour. Still that drying wind, you can see the trees are swaying in the midst of that, and 55 degrees with clear skies by 10 o'clock. Take a look at the rain we have recorded at our official sites. 0.14, just over a tenth of an inch, right at a tenth of an inch, and that's all in Ocean City. 0.11, or just over a tenth of an inch of rainforest in Salisbury, and we didn't even get to a tenth of an inch of rain in our other locations, even including Dover. So no, it wasn't enough to make a serious impact on our drought situation. And this is the updated drought map. Now it includes all of Delmarva under a severe drought status at this time. We'll talk more about a warming trend that's on the way, as well as when the next round of rain may finally come on by.
More area development in the town of Frankford, this time with plans to build off of Clayton Avenue. Now the goal, it's a common one, providing more affordable housing. The town says they believe growth like this will help turn Frankford into more than just a town that you pass through. CoastTV News reporter Drew Bellinger is live in Frankford. Drew, the town has already approved a whole different project for 584 homes on the other side of town.
Charlie, behind me is just a piece of the over 100 acres of land where the town has approved a preliminary site plan for to bring 460 more homes to. On your screen now is the site plan for this property. These plans come alongside the 584 new homes on the way on the south side of town at the Vines Creek Crossing development. All of this is part of the planned growth taking place in Frankford, which hopes to bring younger families and working professionals to town. Businesses nearby say they see opportunity for newcomers, but others are unsure if the town can keep up.
I think it'll help bring more business into Frankford, and maybe new businesses will come in because we're having more homes built around the town.
I am anxious to see what it's going to look like next year as far as the traffic and everything.
Frankford Town Manager Sheldon Hudson also shared that in order for this to move forward, the property does have some issues such as drainage, which they'll work with state agencies like DENREC and DelDOT on in order to move this forward. Reporting live here in Frankford, Drew Bellinger, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Drew. A growing shortage of home care workers in Delaware is leaving families feeling the strain, sparking new calls for action in Dover. You're looking at footage of advocates filling Legislative Hall this morning, pushing lawmakers to increase Medicaid reimbursement rates for in-home nursing. Leaders say home care agencies struggle to compete with hospitals that pay better.
Cost to the state through Medicaid for hospital care, for skilled nursing facilities is much higher on a daily rate. But we're competing with them because of the salary differential.
Caregivers, patients, and supporters spent the day meeting with different lawmakers, hopefully to see some change.
It is that time of year again. Free public parking in many Delaware beach towns coming to an end. Starting tomorrow, the paid parking season begins in Rehoboth, Bethany, Dewey. Parking set at $4 per hour. In Fenwick Island, permits are required. Drivers can pay at meters or through the Park mobile app, depending on the location. The paid parking season runs through September 15th at those coastal communities. But remember, meters are already on in Lewis, and those do stay on a little later.
This is the 40th Youth Fishing Tournament happening in Delaware this year, and DENREC says the last day to pre-register is May 29th. The tournament takes place June 6th from 10 to 1. It will be free at one pond in each county. Here in Sussex, that's Blockhouse Pond in Lewis. DENREC says if you want to compete, you got to bring your own fishing rod and all the equipment, and they do want you to catch and release.
The Lewis Beach Patrol is gearing up for the summer with its 2026 Junior Lifeguard Program. The program will run Tuesdays and Thursdays at Savannah Beach, giving kids age 5 to 15 hands-on experience in beach and water safety. Sessions begin June 23rd and run through early August. Spots limited to just 20 participants per age group. 2 cases of chronic wasting disease have hit deer in Sussex County. Now, the deadly neurological disease doesn't transfer to humans, but it can have impacts on the hunting season. DENREC says they're monitoring and testing deer in Sussex County, working to eradicate the disease where necessary and notifying hunters in those areas. The president of the Delaware Sportsman Association says they're happy with the state's response thus far.
There is something to be concerned, but not something that would keep you from hunting. There's certain precautions that you should take anyway when harvesting a deer and then preparing it. And they just say follow those instructions and things will be fine.
DENREC also asking any hunting deer for meat to get it tested for that chronic wasting disease.
You don't want that. And we're just getting started this evening.
A fitness project in Salisbury, what community members will be adding.
And we have a bit of a warming trend that's in store for us this weekend, and we are still very much in need of more rain.
But first, Lewis linked to history, the city's colonial experience, and it might surprise you. We have that story for you in just 60 seconds.
While the city of Lewis bills itself as the first town in the first state, it might have been one of the last to embrace American independence. In this week's Coastal Connection, we look at how loyalty to Britain almost led to a different outcome in Philadelphia's Independence Hall during the summer of 1776. A trip to Lewis's Sussex Tavern in the historic campus is a trip back in time. Here, you're likely to find its manager, Bill Hicks, who, after 30 years as a teacher, traded the classroom for this colonial-era establishment in full 18th century apparel.
We try to be as authentic as possible within reason.
From setting up on the inside to the exterior, Hicks is attempting to replicate the look and feel of the original inn on 2nd Street.
Now, that building was torn down in 1831, but this building on our property best lent itself to be that recreation.
It is a great backdrop for this former teacher to give us a lesson about Delaware's early years as part of the British Empire.
Delaware has a very strange, convoluted history. William Penn takes over 1681. He gets his charter for the colony of Pennsylvania. Delaware was known as the lower 3 counties on Delaware. And so that's when we really got our start as a colony.
Penn also had a say in some of the names for the southernmost county.
And he says, we'll name the town Lewis after the town in England where my mother-in-law comes from. And we'll name the county Sussex after the county in England where my mother-in-law, he must have voted his mother-in-law big time, but in any event, the folks here got a much more palatable name, and we've been Lewis, 2 syllables ever since.
While this part of Delaware was one of the furthest areas from hence Philadelphia, it had some of the closest ties to England.
I always say Sussex County's been on the wrong side of history because back then in the 1770s, Sussex County was a hotbed of Tories and Loyalists.
And those Loyalists may have produced a different outcome in 1776 if it were not for a peculiar situation.
A petition is circulated throughout the county, here in Sussex County. 5,000 Tories signed that petition. 500 Patriots signed their own petition. They're all being sent up to the Capitol to help determine what course Delaware takes. Well, somewhere along the way, that Loyalist petition disappeared.
With that, the unanimous vote for independence by all 13 colonies is secured, and a lesson worth hearing during our visit to the Sussex Tavern. For Coast TV, I'm Matt Pensick.
So we have clear skies for now. We were a little bit cloudy and rainy early this morning, but now all that's passed on by. And what did it leave in its wake? Not enough rain to put an impact or a dent in our drought situation. In Lewis, we're holding at 62 degrees and a very glorious looking day. Nice, beautiful. 57 by 10 o'clock. Here's a look at the latest radar and satellite depiction of what's happening. You can see we're seeing the cloud cover clearing out pretty nicely for us. Over towards Hubbard and Preston, we're seeing increasing amount of sunshine there as well. Easton, along with Trapp and Cambridge. Overall, the peninsula is beginning to clear out pretty much for the rest of the night, with a few scattered clouds on the other side of the coastal water, and then that's going to be crossing over the next couple of hours or so. We've already had a cold front that's pushed through. Now, the rain that we received wasn't enough. It was some, but just not enough. We had just over a third in places like Seaford, as well as Greenwood, and in Adamsville, and then close to a quarter of an inch for us actually in Ellendale. At our official sites, we had a 1/10 of an inch of rain in Ocean City and just a skosh over that in Salisbury and in Georgetown, and we didn't even get a 1/10 of an inch of rain in Cambridge or in Easton. Another list of areas, we had just over a quarter of an inch in Stokely, Laurel a quarter of an inch just shy of that in Slaughter Beach, Harbison, as well as Bethany Beach, and Lewis and Prime Hook falling shy of a quarter of an inch as well. So how long has it been since we've had a decent 1/2 inch of rain officially? 42 days ago, and still counting. And we're not seeing rain really come up to bat for, let's say, the next 6 days or so, because it's looking like next Thursday is when the next round of rain may actually show its head. Rear its head, that's what I'm going to say, rear its head. Okay, so anyway, for us overnight, we're going to stay pretty clear going into tomorrow. And as you take a look, we're at 62 degrees right now in Long Neck, Milton, Millsboro, Gumboro, and in Delmar. We're about 5 to 11 degrees cooler now, but that's going to flip-flop here in the next 24 hours. We're going to go back to normal temperatures for one day, and then we're going to skyrocket to summer-like conditions. This is just wacky weather pattern, if you want to be honest about it. We're about an inch shy of our normal rainfall total for the month, and for the year, we're in excess of 3, almost 3¼ approaching 3½ inches shy of our normal rainfall total. Now, as far as what we're concerned along the coast for Friday, look for temperatures to climb back into the 70s for Lewis, Rehoboth Beach, and Dewey Beach. But notice those winds out of the northwest. That's going to be an uncomfortable wind blowing out of the northwest, and we're not expecting any real precipitation chances. We go into Saturday, and we'll have temperatures climbing to near 80 degrees. The dew point temperatures stayed a little bit depressed last week, but this upcoming week, we're going to have more moisture and play, and so that may actually help us out with getting a little more rain and push through. Saturday, sunshine and 82, Sunday, 88. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Paul. Salisbury wants to build a fitness area in Lake Street Park. The proposed project seen here in the rendering, it will include a full-length walking trail that encompasses the entire park, and then it's going to have 8 different workout stations. Neighbors say they're excited for a new and free way to get some exercise.
Nowadays, everybody's most of the time inside. I think it would be a great addition that way. Like if somebody doesn't want to go to the gym or spend money on it, you just come here.
Salisbury leaders say construction of the new trail and that workout equipment, it should be completed by the end of this month.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studio.
What's going on, sports fans? A former high school football star is making his way back to the Free State. From Parkside, Big 33 MVP, Lackawanna, Temple, and now the running back is headed to the University of Maryland. Terez Worthy rushed for 496 yards and 5 touchdowns in 16 games at Temple, in addition to being the kick returner in 2024. At Lackawanna, Worthy led the JUCO level with 1,492 rushing yards in 2023. The former Parkside Ram comes back to Maryland with 1 year of eligibility remaining. And the Shorebirds are back on the Delmarva Sports Network tonight as Delmarva fell in last night's contest 5-1 to even the series. Shorebirds with a chance to get back in the win column at 7:05 p.m. Coverage starts on DSN at 7 o'clock. And a chance to punch a ticket into the state finals will be this Friday. And DSN will bring you all the semifinal coverage. Stephen Decatur will take on Centennial in girls lacrosse, while the Seahawks boys team will face Huntingtown. Kent Island girls lacrosse will play Manchester, while the boys team takes on Gledell. These games tomorrow night on the final score at 10:30 p.m. Have a great night.
In Milford right now, we're at 62 degrees. And we're going to drop to 55 by 10 o'clock with partly cloudy skies. We're seeing what few clouds in place right now, clearing out for right now. We'll see a few extra clouds develop after late night hours, but they're not going to be rain-producing clouds. Avra Gold of Newark, congratulations. You're our umbrella giveaway winner, courtesy of Paul Davis, property restoration experts. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. The number to call is 443-880-9100. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Going to be cooler than usual for Friday, but then after that, we take off like a rocket into this summer-like pattern, especially next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday when we'll clock 91 3 days in a row.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.